Hold up, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host. What do we got going on tonight, my man?
Titans finally collide. It's been a long time coming, and it's finally here. Canelo Alvarez against Terrence Crawford. Let's talk about it.
So we are about 2 weeks out, just a little bit under 2 weeks out. Wanted to evaluate things a little bit closer to the fight. We'll obviously do one final one right before the fight, but we're going to give you our analysis 2 weeks post-fight. Listen, I'm a little bit torn. Don't get me wrong. I think based on a number of different things, I know who I'm going to pick. But with that being said, the reason I'm torn is because this is a good fight because there is a difference of styles clashing here. Terrence Crawford has always been aggressive. Don't get me wrong. That him and Canelo have very much in common. But he's a little bit more of a counterpuncher. He's a little bit more crafty. He's a little bit more get busy than a lot of generally other slick boxers. So that's actually going to work in the benefit of Canelo. Now, don't get me wrong. Crawford has been training with the such of Mayweather. I guess he was in the gym with them for a little bit. Andre Ward, that's what I was thinking of. Andre Ward was in there with them for a little bit. Andre Ward has his, little... He says it's not a beef, but he has a little bit of a beef with Canelo. Different fighters, man. Different fighters that have all been helping Terrence Crawford to get that work in, get ready for Canelo. And on the such, so has Canelo. Canelo's been getting work with a bunch of different people that have been helping him fight. One notable name is Jerome Boots. In this, we're going to do a different topic on that, but that's one of the names that's been thrown in there as far as some of the work that he's getting. And I think obviously all these, they're getting their different styles ready, but there are some similarities that I think are going to work in the benefit of Terrence Crawford and vice versa for Canelo. Again, Terrence Crawford being a little bit more on the aggressive side is going to work perfectly for Canelo because he generally digs aggressive boxers. They work very well with his style. He likes to see aggression. He likes to see movement coming at him because he's not just become a decent counter puncher, but he can also open up inside the pocket and put in some work there. I doubt that Crawford is going to do that, but we never know. That's one thing that Terrence Crawford has in his tool bag where he's a little bit more dynamic. He can switch southpaw to orthodox. He can move around. Even though he generally is not like a phenomenal, he has good footwork, but he doesn't necessarily use it in the ways that people automatically think of the Mayweathers of the world, the Erislandy Laras and the such. He doesn't move that way. He's not what I would consider a track star. He actually gets down and fights. So I think there's things like that are definitely going to be working in Terrence Crawford's in Terrence Crawford's favor. The real question is, and I think obviously the question that everybody's been constantly asking is, will he be able to handle the jump up, essentially 2 weight classes, and handle Canelo's power? Now, Terrence Crawford isn't so crafty and so light on his feet that he can dodge everything that Canelo's going to throw at him. I think there's going to be a big question to see if he can handle that power, and because of that, I'm leaning towards Canelo. Only slightly though, because I do think that Terrence Crawford has enough skills to be able to make Canelo look slow, because Canelo has slowed down, especially in his last few fights. He's been slowed down quite a bit. There's not going to be any sort of knockout coming for Terrence Crawford. I think people that say that kind of stuff are ridiculous. The best argument I guess you could make for that is if by just sheer volume, Terrence Crawford can slowly break down Canelo. But as far as a knockout, I don't see it happening. Again, Canelo's been hit by some of the biggest punchers in the game. Even if you don't want to consider Triple G, which, by everyone's account, Triple G was probably the hardest puncher the Canelo faced. Do you guys really think that Terrence Crawford punches harder than Bivol? And Bivol wasn't able to break down, Canelo Alvarez. And, Bivol was 1 weight class above. So the reality of Terrence Crawford being able to get a knockout, I think people that I say that are just, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So if Crawford has any chance to win, he's going to win by decision. And that's a possibility simply because if he does get on that bike, one of the things that was also noted, he was getting in some work with Shakur. Shakur's been known to get on his bike, obviously. So if he does get on his bike, he could certainly win that way. I don't think that's the way that most people would want to see the fight happen. And if I'm being honest with you, the only reason I don't think that's going to happen is because you guys have heard it straight out of Turkey Al Sheikh's mouth. He doesn't want to see none of these track stars anymore. So for who is really Turkey's golden boy right now, Terence Crawford, for that to happen, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt he would do that. So I think a lot of these play in the favor for Canelo. I think, again, that's the only reason why I'm favoring Canelo right now. I don't know if Crawford is going to be able to handle the punches, the power of Canelo. Again, he had difficulty with Madrimov in 154 with 2 weight classes below, so it's gonna be tricky. I'm favoring Canelo right now. I'll give my final prediction as we get closer, but as of right now, I'm favoring Canelo. I think obviously the things that Canelo needs to watch out for is that footwork. Even though Crawford isn't as slick a boxer as the Mayweathers, as the Aries Landilaras and such, he does have to watch out and not be so linear, which has always plagued Canelo. Canelo is flat-footed. Canelo is slow on his feet, so that's one thing that's definitely been working against Canelo in his entire career. And as he's aged, it's made it worse. Obviously, Canelo, the last, I want to say 3 years or so, has slowed down quite a bit. Not just in his punch output, but also in his foot movement. So that's not been great. So we'll see, man. It'll be interesting. I'm sticking with Canelo for right now. But as things change, man, it could be different. Hopefully Canelo got good work, good training with John Butsinis. John Butsinis is a phenom in his own right. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. Right now, I'm favoring Canelo. I'm not to say that Terence Crawford couldn't eke out a win via decision. It can definitely happen. But I'm definitely leaning Canelo as of right now. But what do you think about that, my man?
I think the weight and the severity and the importance of this fight, I think it does mean of great importance to both of these men, but I think it means two different things for both of them entirely. For somebody like a Terence Crawford, who looked like he had trouble at 154 against Madrimov. Now, he didn't look bad. He just had a little bit of trouble, which means that he struggled a little bit at 154. I think for him, the messaging going into this fight is it's an uphill battle, and we have a lot of work to do real fast. Based on Canelo's performance against William Skoll, which is kind of a generous word to give that, I do think that the importance of this message going into this fight is that, look, man, we got to get back to work. This needs to be a wake-up call. Like, we need to get a for sure W in this next fight, especially considering the importance that it is, given that it's, again, the tagline is that it's two titans, and it is two titans going up against each other. You can't be looking weak in this. You can't be looking weak. Now, do I think he's going to knock out Terence Crawford? I don't necessarily think so, but I do think the amount of advantages that Canelo Alvarez has, I do think it's gonna be very easy for him to basically rest on his laurels, which I do think Terence Crawford can take to his advantage of. The important thing is in this fight is that Terence Crawford needs to work all the angles, outpace Canelo, run on his bike if he absolutely needs to. I'm not even saying that's a bad strategy. If Terence Crawford does employ that strategy and he wins, look, man, you kind of have to give him his props. He went in there against the man that's 2 weight classes above him, and he was able to get a unanimous, or hell, even a majority decision. You have to give Terence Crawford his props. Even though he's not my favorite fighter to win this fight, you have to give it to the man. He outworked him, and he got the W. He basically made a grand victory, and not a grand victory, a grand theft in the entirety of the matter. But again, that's if Terence Crawford wins. Now, granted, I do think he has a chance in this, but again, as I've said before, it's an uphill battle. You're going up against a man that's 2 weight classes above you, and not only that, he's been dominant force in that division. You have a mighty uphill battle. You have to have an Ocean's 11 level of game plan strategy to take down this man. Now, to be fair, Canelo did look a little bit lacking in the Skoll fight. If I took that fight and I took Madrimov, or the Madrimov fight into account, I would have given Terence Crawford a 25% chance versus a 75% chance that Canelo would take that fight. But if I took that performance that Canelo had against Skoll, I'm going to have to drop it down to a 45-55. 45 that Terence Crawford takes it, 55 that Canelo takes it. But I'm not going to lie. If I see more work coming out of Terence Crawford, I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to look even closer than that. Maybe even a 50-50, a 51-49. I'm not entirely sure. I do think Terence Crawford can take it, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, man. As of this morning, the odds are in the favor of Canelo winning. Almost 2-1. I believe it's negative 175 Canelo, to plus 151 Crawford. I believe it's what I saw this morning. Don't quote me on that. I do know that Canelo's being favored right now, but I can't remember quite well the specific odds. That being said, listen, it'd be one thing. Madrimov is a great fighter. I do believe that. Madrimov is a great fighter. Top 10, all that good stuff. Or top 10 in his weight division, all that good stuff. But is he on the same level as a Canelo? Nah, man. And the fact that Madrimov, even if you don't believe it was even close, the fact that Madrimov made Terence Crawford respect his powers, because go back and watch the fight. There's plenty of times that Crawford got caught by Madrimov, and it was looking like they didn't rock him, but it shook him a little bit. I'm like, he's like, he understood. He's like, I get it. You got power. That being said, again, that's 2 weight classes below, and Madrimov is nowhere near as good as a Canelo. So those types of things make me think that, yeah, man. I mean, if Canelo can catch Terence Crawford consistently, it's gonna be a long night for Terence Crawford, man. It's gonna be a long night. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, man. Again, listen, Terence Crawford is super skilled, but there's weight classes for a reason. You know, personally, I have Usyk at number 1 because in pound for pound, because he is not just that he beat, but not just that he become undisputed at 2 different weight classes, but all the skills that Terence Crawford has, Usyk has, in my belief, in spades. The reason I bring that up is because, again, the weight classes thing. If Usyk and Terence Crawford somehow were able to meet somewhere in the middle between 168 and the heavyweight division, 230 plus and up, whatever, I would always pick Usyk, because even though Crawford is super skilled, there's weight classes for a reason, and I think that's the biggest thing that's gonna plague Terence Crawford. Now listen, again, the number one thing that's gonna plague Canelo is he's slow. He's flat-footed, and those things you just can't have. You need to be a little bit more light on your feet. You need to be a little bit more mobile, and you need to be just a little bit crisper. And I feel like if he doesn't, then it's gonna be a long night for Canelo. Again, I'm favoring Canelo right now. I favor that Canelo's gonna win. I'm sticking, and before you guys all start throwing some stupid racial shit at me, it's not just me. Look at the odds. Everyone in Vegas is betting one way. Those people don't care about nobody's race. They care about who's going to make money. I'm favoring Canelo right now because it is a big task for Terence Crawford, a big hill for him to get over. Is it possible? Absolutely. And if there's anyone that can do it, it's Terence Crawford. It's just highly unlikely that that's going to happen. But again, listen, we'll see. We're just 2 weeks out. We're definitely going to be watching the fight ourselves. We're definitely going to be tuning in. We're going to do one more review right before and give you guys a breakdown of what we believe is going to happen, how it's going to happen. We might even pick some rounds, pick by decision, whatever it may be. But listen, as of right now, we're favoring Canelo, just like the odds are favoring Canelo. But don't ever count Terence Crawford, man. He's been number 1 pound for pound for a while, for a reason, because he is very skilled, he is very talented, but this is a big hill. This is a big hill, y'all. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit, and
until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.